Good morning. Second try. This is my 20 minutes stream of consciousness vlog. I don't know if you know The Artist's Way, but it's basically a manual of how to create like an artist, if I sum that up correctly. But now I need to double check if I pressed play. My brain. Yes. Winner. So, this is my 20 minutes stream of consciousness vlog. I got a book recommended to me that's called The Artist's Way, I believe. And it's basically like a manual on how to connect with your inner self to create what you want to create. But it didn't work for me. I have about 10 of these fully written with my thoughts, and it's just not working for me. And when I write, then all the things come up, and then I get anxious because I cannot write everything down at the same time. And then I'm losing my train of thought, and then I get frustrated, and then I stop. So I have done a lot of research over the past 1.5 years because I left my job at Google. I was on a very steep career path in tech after I graduated my MBA cum laude. I studied business, even though I never really wanted to, but that was the thing everybody pushed me to do. And I didn't know what I should do after high school. And ever since I was 11, I started riding horses at 6 years old. And ever since I was 11, I had my own horse and did this competitively. So keeping that in mind, that I've been an athlete since the age of 11. And as I grew older, I made this into my job. I would breed horses, I would break them in, I would show them on shows and then sell them. All while being in high school. At the peak of high school, I was riding 3 horses a day. One before school and the other two after school. So I always had 2 jobs. At least. Then I come from a very German family, and I also had a job as a daughter. That means chores every Saturday. I didn't go out and play. I had a list of chores to do. So that was my third kind of job. And then when I graduated, I immediately jumped right into the corporate world, and I struggled. I struggled at university. The Dutch university system is horrible, in my opinion, because the exams are multiple choice. I studied in the Netherlands because there's a butterfly. I studied in the Netherlands because my grades were too low for Germany. And in the Netherlands, everybody can get in, but it's really hard to stay in, to say the least. And if you're a very intuitive person and a creative person and you show your knowledge in writing, that's not how it works in the Netherlands. In the Netherlands, you tick boxes. What that does to your creativity, to your way to express knowledge, and to your intuition, I don't even want to get into. So think about it twice if you want to study in the Netherlands. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, so coming from a very high performing athletic career with my horses, I couldn't continue riding during my studies. I did ride during my studies, but I couldn't do it competitively because I had to study so much, and I had to study so much harder than everyone else. And now, at 32, I know why, because I took the time to get to know myself. We will get to that in a minute. Let me actually write down my next cue. But essentially, the way I studied, was I had to write things down in color and then different colors, and then I would summarize the books from the text and the lectures, and then I would summarize the summary, and then I would summarize the summary of that, and I would do that so often so that I know the text by heart. And that's not knowledge, by the way. Knowing things by heart is not knowledge, guys. And then I would know, like magically know, at the beginning when I would see just the color of the bullet point, I would remember the fact that I had memorized. That's the way I studied. And I had to study so much harder than everyone else. I went to every resit, I went to every tutoring course just to make it through uni. And on the other hand, the physical level, I didn't work out anymore. I couldn't be as active anymore. And that's when what I really struggled with, because I was used to being outside all the time in the stable, feeding horses, cleaning, riding, everything. If you have a horse or know someone who has a horse, you know how much time that takes and physical effort. And then going to an academic life, sitting at a desk all day was already hell for me. And I'm like, oh my God, how is this going to be when I have to work a 9 to 5? So naturally, the day after I graduated, I did my bachelor's in international business and then a master's in business administration, because I didn't know what jobs I should apply for. So I'm like, okay, let's do a master's because it's only 1 year in the Netherlands. So did that. I wrote my bachelor thesis. That's the only thing I liked about my studies, was my bachelor thesis about narcissistic CEOs and CEO narcissism. And I took the case of Lloyd Blankfein at Goldman Sachs. Shout out to you, bro. But that is when I learned about narcissism and what narcissism is, and that it is a trait we all possess, and that it is a spectrum. Now in the neo Instagram spirituality wannabe psychology bubble, everyone is a narcissist. Your ex, narcissist. The Karen, narcissist. Your father, narcissist. Your friend, narcissist. We should not do it that. That's not how this works. And narcissism, by default, is not bad. There's very, very good cases of narcissism and also very bad cases of narcissism. And just gonna write this down. And my master thesis, I switched the universities, which I really liked. By the way, I'm not timing this. I'm trying to feel when 20 minutes is over because I'm time blind. So at my master's, I then really liked it because it was a lot of group work, a lot of project work where I could actually show my knowledge and not just tick boxes to prove that I'm smart. And there I wrote my master thesis about the influence of nonverbal behavior on perceived leadership effectiveness at a Dutch financial institution. So essentially what I found out is that if a leader was displaying certain nonverbal behavior, they were rated as more effective by their followers, whereas the experts, their superiors, rated them as less effective. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I have a lot to say about nonverbal behavior, but that's not the point of this video. I totally lost track of the point of this video, but what I wrote down is, so I found out so after I graduated, I defended my master thesis on a Monday, and on Tuesday I started my job in consulting at IBM, a big Fortune 500 company, one of the biggest and oldest tech companies there is. Didn't take a day off. I didn't think that was necessary, and then I wonder why I have a fucking burnout the second I hit 30. So consulting, sitting the entire day at a desk, staring at a screen, editing a PDF because the person earning 6 figures and is like the age of your dad can't do it. Like, come on, give me a break. This cannot be it. Whew. Consulting wasn't my thing. Then I switched into sales because at IBM I networked the shit out of this company to figure out how does a company like that actually works, and what other things are there to do, and how do the company, like the departments, work together. That's all what I did. And then I realized, okay, I really want to be in sales because I want to solve problems for my customers and be in direct customer contact. I hope this is not going to fall. Anyway, so direct customer contact. I realized IBM is not the company for that. If you want to sell at IBM, you have to be an executive partner. And for that, you need to be there at least 15 years. And I just do not have the patience to be at the company for 15 years. Right, I switched companies. A dear friend referred me to a entry-level sales position at a software company that just went public. Bad timing. If I would have joined before being public, I probably would have a lot of stocks and a lot of money right now, but I didn't join early enough. So there I learned how Americans sell, and how basically thin air is being sold for a lot of money, and how to engage with a prospect, with a potential customer, how to, verbally woo them over the entire processes, what language is being used in corporate America to make people buy things they probably don't need, in order to bypass gatekeepers, how to find out phone numbers who you shouldn't find because they have been sold on the internet despite GDPR, and all these fun tools that all the salespeople use to subtract your data. Then the sales processes. I had really good sales onboarding, but now I realize they probably just gathered all the data to train AI, because in my onboarding, I had to record videos of myself pitching and all these fun things, and all these fun challenges where I made videos of and uploaded. I also made a lot of videos to send to prospects, um, selling them cloud monitoring. Um, that in itself, that system is so rigged that I could not stay. For me, when something doesn't make sense, I cannot do it. Like, something inside of me is like, Mariette, if you do this now, I'm gonna fucking stop breathing. And I'm like, okay, I do need to breathe. So yeah, I realized, fuck, this is not it. If entry-level salespeople sell, basically what they sell is time. They convince someone else from another big company to spend 30 minutes of their time with us, so we can talk to them and convince them why they should buy our software product. We also, during these meetings, try to extract as many information as possible about the tech stack, budgets, authority, yada yada yada. Um, you know, in order to use that information as leverage. That in itself, if you find this problematic, that makes two of us. If not, please just scroll. Yeah, so then I had a senior colleague who then so graciously invited me to join him to another company to be his right hand. I cannot say anything legally about this, but boy, oh boy, what I've experienced there made me see this entire system for what it is: an actual scam. It is an actual scam. And if you want to tell me that the tech industry is not a scam, that you're selling a node on a network for six figures, I don't want to be friends with you then, because it is essentially all a scam and a machine in order to bring a lot of money into different industries. There's lots and lots of marketing events, lots and lots of marketing initiatives where we would give out vouchers for people to bribe them to spend their time with us and give us their information. So, and if everything is built on thin air, essentially, and the sole purpose is to shift money from left to right, while letting people think they actually have anything of value to do in those companies, it's insane. It's insane. And now we're coming to my favorite subject. So then COVID hit, my relationship broke the fuck down. I lost everything. I realized my dear boyfriend, who almost killed me, by the way, um uh, uh, was active on various dating websites. Um, and obviously, the relationship broke. Finally, I tried to break up so long before, but it didn't work for a reason that mm, I might. I might tell you, I might tell you not why I couldn't get rid of this person. If you hear it, you will shit bricks. But I lost my job. I broke up with my ex. I won the lawsuit. My ex dragged me 1 year through a lawsuit that I was never meant to win. And only my dear, dear family members would have known that, but nobody told me. Um, I lost the house, and quite frankly, I lost my mind a little. Because everything I thought made me me, the nice apartment, the rugby playing boyfriend, Dutch, tall, blue eyed. If you ever meet a Dutchman, run. Or hide your wallet. Probably do both. Um, yeah, everything I thought made me me, Mariette. Hi, I'm Mariette, by the way. Um, was stripped away from me. The career in sales, the corporate ladder climbing boss baby, um, the girlfriend, the dog mom. I lost my dog. He took my dog, which is fine. It was his dog. Now that I evaluated, but I had nothing left. I stood in an apartment. I sold everything. I had my mattress on the floor. And that was basically, uh, yeah, the beginning where I lost the soul under my feet. And I don't know how many years later, I still haven't found it. I still haven't found the ground back under my feet, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. And I'm using all of my research and my experience in order to build my business. And I want to take you with because it's a struggle. If you're a person like me, I'm creative, but I also have a lot of energy. I have by default a very neurocomplex mind because some shit happened to me in the past that irreversibly altered my brain and my neuromotor reflexes. So for me to control myself and my body and my mind, it takes a lot of energy. And whenever I want to put something in writing and like commit to something, my brain goes, "Oh my god, you cannot commit. Oh my god, you're crazy. Have a think about that again. Are you sure?" Yes, I'm sure. So yes, the first topic I want to talk about that I've researched is embodied cognition. Embodied cognition is basically a field of studies that says that we are learning with our minds, not just our brains. And I came to that subject because I realized after my accident, I had a very big accident when I was 10 years old, which is why I have PTSD. And if you might have noticed, I have a lisp. So I lost my four front teeth due to brute force. And my body and my mind quickly said goodbye to each other. Um, and yeah, that has obviously a big impact on me. And I realized that ever since this incident, I have aphantasia. That means that um, I don't have an internal monologue. Shit, it's windy. I think 20 minutes is up. I don't have an internal monologue. I don't have thoughts in my head. It's constantly um, blank and I cannot visualize things. So, the reason why I had such struggles learning, especially by heart, is that I cannot talk to myself in my head. Only very, very rarely, and I cannot visualize things. So I realize some people have crazy, crazy ways of like imagining things or learning things that there's like they build a mind palace with different rooms and put the knowledge in there and then they remember. I don't have that. And to this day, I don't know how I learn. So what I did is after I found that out, I learned. I learned. I learned with my body. I learned Muay Thai. I learned ballet and I learned aerial. And I did a lot of research. And I used AI to help me to gather the pieces together. And now I'm sitting on a huge, huge pile of content and lots of research notes, lots and lots of ideas that could potentially be billion-dollar projects. And I just can't get my shit together. So that's why I think I'm just doing this on the internet because I noticed that the fear of being seen that everybody has, it's a survival instinct. If you're being seen and if you're being, it makes you a target. And if you're being excluded from the group, it means death. It means extinction. That's our internal, very, very, very primary neurology. And now I'm overcoming the fear of being seen. I'm also a victim of child pornography, where a sick individual placed a camera behind a mirror facing the shower. If that's not a mind fuck, I don't know what is, but let's just pretend it's a Truman Show for my sake, okay? So being on camera, exposing myself, it's hitting right where it should, I guess. And I realized that I have everything I need in order to be successful, madly successful, because whatever I put my mind to in the past, I magically achieved it. And then comes the downer, because when you realize whatever goal you have, you achieve it, you also know what comes after. At least for me. When I achieved my goal, for example, my goal was working full time at Philips, doing an internship while writing my thesis and graduating cum laude. I did that. The day after, I immediately fell into a hole because I'm if like if that doesn't fulfill me, because I always put these goals, I'm like, okay, wow, if I get this, like then I will be happy, you know. Whether that was my with my horses, whether that was academically, whether that was I was promoted at IBM like 6 months after joining. Like, if you have a track record like this, you know that you become naturally scared of success, because you know that success is what you crave. It's like the drug. But once you achieve it, you have to, what then? You have to get a new goal. You have to work twice as hard. Because I am not a person that's like, okay, I achieved this now, I can be happy for the rest of my life. No, that's not how this works, at least for me. Um, and I realized that I'm enjoying this process way too much in order to start and then have it done. You know what I mean? Because when it's done, it's done. I need to move on. And I just love this so much. So I'm taking you with, because I'm also a fierce businesswoman, but I'm also a creative, and I'm an artist, a performance artist, and an aerialist, and a Muay Thai ballerina. And all these things are me. I. Okay. If that was now 20 minutes, gang gang. Oh my god, that was 23 minutes. How good was that? Now, look at my garden. I'm currently at my grandma's estate. That was probably her. um, and I'm building my summer residency. It was my dream to take over this property one day, but due to my toxic family, I will not um, engage in such a action. So basically, this is where I'll be residing for the next couple of months. I've built a studio in the back, which I will show you in a minute. And then I will take you with on a productive day for me, where I combine my hyperactivity, hyperkinesia due to my PTSD, and show you how I be productive without being glued to the desk, because I still want to have a normal job and life, you know? And I'm not giving up. I think I can combine the two of them. And I think it's necessary. That is part of my mission, to change the way 9 to 5 is done, because 9 to 5 is a joke. I have explained it to you very briefly. I can go more into detail about why a 9 to 5 is just simply brain rotting and being held hostage by your desk, and what that does to your physiology and your neurology. Right to jail. It's for your body torture that we have normalized, and we need to stop doing that. And that's my mission. So let's go.